Has anyone ever refused you love? How can this be avoided? This story is about a guy who wants to date a rejected heroine and make her happy. The main character, Hisamura, leaves work. He is in a hurry to meet a girl. The girl Hisamura fell in love with has short silver hair, beautiful eyes that give off a cold aura. She cares about others. But when he is about to show us something about her, we realize that he was talking about Sei-chan, a character in the manga. The story is about a love triangle in which the main character falls in love with the protagonist Shiho at school, but he gets into trouble with his childhood friend Kaori because she is also in love with him and tries her best to hinder their relationship. Hisamura explains the position of his favorite character. Sei Shimada is a lost heroine who is also in love with Yuichi, despite being his companion. Hisamura compares himself to most people for liking a side character rather than one of the main girls in the story. He starts to evaluate a souvenir of his favorite girl with a smug face, and he gets too carried away with the purchase. In order not to look weird among the people who pass by, he hides his purchase in his bag, going over in his head the thoughts of buying Sei-chan's new item next time. Hisamura notices a truck approaching and about to crash into him. It looks like the driver fell asleep at the wheel. At this moment, everything happens for Hisamura as if in slow motion. He's going over things he didn't get to see, like the end of Ohojama, things he didn't get to explore, and finally, he gets hit. He wakes up, puzzled, confused, and unable to understand why he is at school. Hisamura thinks it is not his school and remembers that he has just been hit by a truck. Trying to calm himself down, he thinks it's a dream or even he's fallen into a coma. He hears people talking, mentioning Sei-chan and Shiho. Surprised by this, he tries to look closer and sees Shiho Fujise and Sei Shimada, characters from the manga. They are talking about Yuichi-kun, the main character. Hisamura can't believe the scene, seeing them both as if they were real. He memorizes their dialogues and predicts the next move they will make, since he read the sequel in the manga. He knows that Kaori is thinking of turning down Yuichi's date offer so as not to interfere with him and his childhood friend, Kaori to join. So, Sei-chan encourages her to keep working on it and go on the date, telling Shiho that she has a chance to make it happen. Shiho leaves, thanking Sei-chan for talking to her. With a concerned look, she hopes that Shiho will give her best to achieve her dream, and with it, Sei-chan's dream. This makes Hisamura cry, because this scene is the reason why he fell in love with Sei-chan in the first place. He explains that she is also in love with the main character of the story, Shigemoto. And although she likes him, so does Shiho. Sei-chan acts in a supportive role so that they can be together. Hisamura fell in love with her through this noble act, as she gave up her own feelings for the sake of her friends. Sei-chan notices that someone has been eavesdropping and rushes over to see who it is. She catches our protagonist asking him if he heard the conversation that just took place. This catches Hisamura off guard. He is overjoyed because Sei-chan called his name. Thinking it's still a dream, he realizes that she didn't call his name, and he just happened to respond with dialogue that belongs in the manga in this scene. He turned into Tsukasa Hisamura, one of the side characters and a close friend of the main character, Yuichi Shigemoto. His role in this story is to help Shigemoto when he feels depressed because of a love triangle. Hisamura shares that both he and the character he turned into have the same first and last name. It's also one of his favorite characters. Trying to come to his senses, Hisamura repeats the dialogue from the manga, asking if Sei-chan agrees with her decision to help Shiho, even though she too is in love with Yuichi. Sei-chan assures her that everything will be fine and has already figured out if her friends will make a good couple, confident that they're perfect for each other. So there's no room for her between them. Stunned by this answer, Hisamura reflects on how beautiful her actions are. Remembering why he fell in love with Sei-chan, he doesn't want her to carry this sadness, and in an attempt to help her, Hisamura suddenly confesses his love to her. Sei-chan can't believe what she has just heard. But Hisamura starts telling her all the things he likes about her with an innocent expression on his face. She is amazed, since he has never called her by her name. Hisamura thinks about how cute she is, thanks God for this opportunity, and starts yelling again about why he's so in love with her. Sei-chan, even more confused than before, asks if he's trying to make her angry. But Hisamura replies that he doesn't like that about Sei-chan. Urging her to stop denying her own feelings, he offers to make her happy. She can't believe what she hears, but Hisamura is going to say it again, and full of confidence, asks her to become his girlfriend. Sei-chan's love will remain unrequited as long as the two main girls of the story remain. Therefore, he wants her to be happy. He will do anything to dispel Sei-chan's longing. She starts to ask if he's serious, and he confirms his words with full confidence, while it's pointed out to him that he's a simpleton who spent all his money on Sei-chan's goods. She didn't know this side of Hisamura, and as he walks towards her, he declares that it's her fault that he's become like this. She tries to back away because she's getting a little scared from all the things Hisamura has suddenly said, and it makes her stumble. He grabs her by the waist, and Sei-chan thanks him with a pounding heart for his concern. Hisamura realizes how close they are. He feels her warmth, sees how long her eyelashes are, how round her eyes are looking at him. He wanted this moment to last forever. Thinking he was still dreaming, he approaches Sei-chan and asks her if everything is okay, to which she replies in a shaky voice that everything is fine and asks him to let her go. Sei-chan wants to give her answer later, but Hisamura is eager to know it now, so he keeps pushing her for an answer. Since he still thinks he's dreaming and doesn't care if he's rejected, he won't let Sei-chan go until he knows the answer. Hisamura keeps asking if he can be her boyfriend and is embarrassed. She thinks he's a nice guy and tries not to answer right away. Hisamura asks her again if she agrees to be his girlfriend. She pushes him and runs away. He follows her, claiming that no matter what happens, his feelings won't change, and tells her again how much he loves her. Eventually, Sei-chan gives up, says she'll think about the confession, and walks away. Hisamura, swaying, tells her how adorable she is, and that he has no regrets about anything in his life now. So he needs to get back to the real world, and he asks himself when he will wake up. We see Sei-chan walking to school. She's beautiful, taller than the average girls, and makes their hearts race. Someone calls her name, and it's Shiho. She thanks Sei-chan for helping her go on a date with Shigemoto. Sei-chan tells her that she didn't do anything, and it's because Shiho worked hard. She finds out if the rumor that Shigemoto has a fiancé, a childhood friend, is true, but it turns out to be untrue, letting us know that Tojoin's childhood friend is just a love rival, not a fiancé. As she ponders how to help her friends in this love triangle, she remembers Hisamura's confession and begins to blush. Shiho notices this and asks if anything happened yesterday. Sei-chan is embarrassed, and Shiho notices this because she usually responds to the message right away. But last night she was rolling around on the bed thinking about the confession. A very careful Shiho asks if anyone confessed to her yesterday, and from the look in her eyes, she realizes it's true. Sei-chan tells her what happened, and Shiho realizes why they've both been talking so much lately. She asks Sei-chan about the results, but she hasn't answered yet. A confused Sei-chan explains that she can't date him just because he confessed. Shiho asks if she has someone else in her heart, and after thinking that Shigemoto is the first person who comes to mind when she's asked such questions, she now thinks of Hisamura. Sei-chan tells Shiho that she doesn't have anyone in mind, and the latter asks how Sei-chan felt when Hisamura confessed that she was very happy. Sei-chan thought she wasn't cut out for love, but even so, she felt like she was in a fairy tale, and couldn't escape the thought that Hisamura was the main character of a shoujo manga. Shiho laughs at her reaction and tells her to take her time thinking about it. Sei-chan wonders if she's interested in seeing it. Shiho feels happy about it. Seeing that Sei-chan has her own love story, she gathers up her courage and admits to Shigemoto that she could do the same and have a double date. Sei-chan is no longer hurt to hear that Yuichi and Shiho are together, so she feels differently after the confession. Upon waking up, Hisamura realizes that maybe this isn't a dream. He usually comes back to the real world after an afternoon nap. Remembering how yesterday was after school, he comes home and has dinner. It was so delicious, it didn't feel like a dream. Arguing with himself, Hisamura wonders if what he is experiencing is real or not. Tsukasa Hisamura remembers being hit and thinks that he probably won't be able to return to his world, so his only option is to live here. Perhaps Hisamura will miss his family and friends, or even regret what he couldn't accomplish in his home world. But now he's screaming with hopelessness, remembering what he did yesterday because he thought it was a dream. He confessed to Saichan. What happens if Saichan hates him now? What if she doesn't want him to ever get close to her? No one will believe he just teleported into the Ohojama manga world. So he sobs alone. He doesn't want to act like nothing happened. But someone interrupts his tantrum, and it's none other than Ria Hisamura, his little sister. She tells him that he's going to be late for school. She, in addition to Saichan, plays the role of the sub-heroine of love. Ria hands Hisamura his bento, and he thanks her for always helping him. It's strange for her, since he's not acting the same way he always does now. In the manga, Ria is the youngest girl, one of the most popular characters according to fan polls, and one of Hisamura's favorites. But now that he has the memory of Tsukasa Hisamura, he can't see Ria the way he always did. He sees her as the little sister he treasures. The manga confirms that Ria's feelings are not mutual, so he must help her become happy. With a completely different aura, Hisamura compliments her, causing her to be disgusted by this behavior. A slightly flustered Ria tells him that they need to hurry up because they have to go to school. Hisamura remembers that she's angry, so she doesn't show her embarrassment, and it makes her look cute. He realizes that with time, his memories and emotions will become more familiar to this world. Right now, he doesn't regret anything. What matters most is his new baby sister and the result of Seichan's acceptance. At school, Hisamura says goodbye to Ria so they can each go to their own class. He walks up to someone. It's the main character of the Yuichi manga. Hisamura calls him by name unknowingly, but the latter doesn't pay it any mind. He is the stereotype of the tall, popular guy from the basketball club. Hisamura asks what happened because he looks tired and like he saw a ghost. Yuichi needs Hisamura's help to fulfill a once-in-a-lifetime request. Leave a like and subscribe to let me know you want part 2 of this story.